Welcome to day 102 of our school year. We have 78 school days left. Okay, so let's get down our beginning fraction. We have a 180 school days. That's our total amount, so that's our denominator. And we are in day 102. So let's decide if our numerator is prime or composite. Well, it ends in an even number, so it's even. And the only even number that's prime is the number 2, because 2 is a factor. That means more than 2 factors, 1, 2, and the number itself, so it has to be composite. That means we're going to do the prime factorization for both our numerator and our denominator, both of them. Think of our first 5 prime to help us out. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Let's see, I can divide by 5 because it ends in a 0. I can get 3 groups of 5 tens out of 18 tens, at least 30, which would be 6. That's even. I can't do half of 3 tens, but I can do half of 2 tens, which is 1, and then half of 16, which is 8. It's even still, so I can do half. I get 9, 3, and 3. 3 is prime, so we're done. Here it's even, so I can do 2 divided by 2. Half of 10 tens is 5 tens. Half of 2 ones is 1. 5 plus 1 is 6, so 3 is actually a factor. I can get 10 threes out of 50. That leaves 21, which is 7. 17's prime, so we are done. 51's a number that will often confuse people. They think it's prime when it's actually composite. Okay, so our prime factorization from least to greatest, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. And then numerator 2 times 3 times 17. So what do we have in common? It looks like 2 times 3, which is 6. We have 17 in the numerator. 2 times 3 is 6 times 5 is 30 in the denominator. Okay, let's go ahead and make our groups of 6. So I'm going to cut 4 off of each row of 10 to make my groups of 6. You do not have to make your groups like mine, just make sure there are 6 in each group. And you keep your shaded separated from your unshaded, because otherwise we have fractions inside fractions. And we don't need to make it more difficult for ourselves. 2 groups of 3, 2 groups of 3. So we are making arrays here. They're different factors. 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. All right. Let's count up our total groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 total groups. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 shaded in. Okay, now that we have found our division with our model, let's go ahead and prove it with our algorithm. We're dividing by our greatest common factor. So we're going to divide 180 into groups of 6 and 102 into groups of 6. 20 times 6 is 120. Numbers the same, zeros a game. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zeros a game. 10 times 6 is 60. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add our partial quotients together. 20 plus 10 is 30. Now you may wonder where I get these numbers from. I'm just finding numbers that I can easily multiply by that will give me a product that's less than what's in there. Okay. 10 times 6 is 60. More on top, no need to stop. And then here I have 10, take away 6, which is 4. Okay. 5 is easy for me to multiply by. 5 times 6 is 30. More on top, no need to stop. More on top, no need to stop. And then 2 times 6 is 12. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add our partial quotients together. 10 plus 5 is 15, 16, 17. Now we still need to check, which is our divisor times our quotient plus our remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Since our our remainder is 0 for both, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0 it stays the same, we don't need to add the 0. 6 groups of 0 is 0. 6 groups of 3 tenths is 18 tenths. 6 groups of 7 is 42. 6 groups of 10 is 6 tenths plus 4 more tenths is 10 tenths, or 100. 102, that matches our dividend. 180, that matches our dividend. So our numerator is definitely 17, and our denominator is definitely 30. All right, let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Okay, trimester 2, week 9. Today is 1/31/2020, and our fraction for today is 17/30. Okay, we did groups of 6, so let's go ahead and get out our number line. Last one we have is 15/30. So we're going to get down 16/30, which is equivalent to 8/15. That is the simplest form, or equivalent fraction in lowest terms. It's also equivalent to 48/90. And then today is 17/30. There are no lines below it because it is the simplest form or equivalent fraction in lowest terms. But there is an equivalent fraction in the 3's and the 2's, because both 2 and 3 are common factors, but 6 is our greatest common factor. All right, let's go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.